So talk about a video that could age horribly in the next few days, depending on who wins these triple threats. But we shall see something different, so let's give it a go. Hello and welcome to FCTR, I'm Hugh McQuaid, and today we are trying something different. We are diving into my first fantasy booking proper video in which I will be fantasy booking the duration of the World Heavyweight Championship, the new World Heavyweight Championship from now right up to WrestleMania 40. So before we dive into that, please hit subscribe, please like this video, please comment your thoughts on the World Heavyweight Championship down in the comments below, and I will try and apply to every single one of them. So yeah, fantasy booking, we're taking fantasy booking here on From the Top Rope, and we are blasting it out of the water because I have come up with a script, a good rundown that I think is good of how I would book the World Heavyweight Championship from tomorrow night, or tonight, up until WrestleMania 40. So shall we just dive into that right now? So I'm starting off with a few caveats, a few things I've got to stress in this video. There are not events fully announced, so I've had to either make some up or use existing ones, use last year's calendar to come up with a timeline of events and pay-per-view shows. And there are a few caveats that we will get to in terms of who wins other things like Money in the Bank, like the Royal Rumble, all that good stuff. But shall we start off with these triple threat matches, the triple threat matches that are taking place on Raw and SmackDown. So, who wins them? The one on Raw has to be won by Seth Rollins, of course. He has to be the one advancing to Night of Champions at the end of May. And the SmackDown one is won by Edge. I think Edge would be a really good participant. I don't see why he's in the match if he's not going to win. You don't really want Edge. He doesn't really do like TV appearances, so I don't know why he'd lose these triple threat matches. But yeah, I think Edge versus Seth Rollins, rekindle that feud for one night only in Saudi Arabia, and Seth Rollins picks up the win. He beats Edge and becomes the inaugural WWE World Heavyweight Champion at Night of Champions. And let's go from there. So Seth's first defense of the World Heavyweight Championship will be at Money in the Bank in London, in which I think he should take on Shinsuke Nakamura. Nakamura could not be pinned in the triple threats. He could easily vie for that championship, and they had a banger, if I remember correctly, at Survivor Series. I think that would be a nice start a feud for Seth Rollins. They could have a really good match in London, really good, get the crowd hyped up, babyface versus babyface, in which Seth Rollins just out-wrestles Nakamura that little bit, and Rollins picks up the win, having his first defense for the World Heavyweight Championship. Money in the Bank is won by none other than Logan Paul, who pushes Cody Rhodes off the ladder at the end to win the briefcase. He will get a World Heavyweight Championship match of his choosing at any time in the next year. So the next night on Raw, Rollins comes out. He's fighting babyface. He's like, I'm going to have an open challenge. Who is going to step up to me? Gunther is who. Imperium walk down. He stares off with Rollins and he says, I don't want to face you for that belt tonight. I want to face you for that belt at SummerSlam, the biggest stage possible. I'm going to be a double champion, the Intercontinental Champion and the World Heavyweight Champion, and I'm going to dethrone you, Seth. Seth, being the valiant babyface, he accepts. Now, I think what you don't want to do with this belt is have lots of open challenges on Raw every week, because the issue you'll have there is Rollins will be beating a lot of people, which is the issue we've got with the other belt, because Roman's beat everyone. So I think use it sparingly, and in this case I think Gunther would want to challenge Seth at SummerSlam. He'd want to be on that big stage because the mat is sacred. And then we get to SummerSlam, Rollins versus Gunther, and they have an absolutely outstanding match. You can imagine they would have an absolute belter. Seth's chest is a disgustingly purple and red colour. Gunther is pouring with sweat. He's so close to beating Rollins. They both clothesline each other. They both go down when Logan Paul's music hits. Logan Paul runs down with his Money in the Bank briefcase. He's still in street clothes. Let's even have that. He's in street clothes. He's cashing in. He cashes in, hits a buckshot on Gunther and throws Gunther out of the ring. Hits two stomps on Seth. 1, 2, 3. Logan Paul is the new World Heavyweight Champion. Now, before you click off this video, which I know you'll probably do, you've got to understand the optics here. They only had one match. They had their match at WrestleMania, which Seth won pretty definitively. There's an inbuilt feud here. An inbuilt feud that can be carried on, which we'll get to. But the other one, this protects Gunther. It protects Seth. And what we'll get to now is Seth has to look at what he's done. He has to look at his past repercussions, because the next night on Raw, Seth comes down and he wants to challenge Logan Paul for the belt. He says, "You cheated me out of it." In which Logan Paul just states, "Seth, it's exactly what you did. You did this at WrestleMania. You did this to Brock and you did this to Roman. I was just following your playbook." Seth has to look in on himself. Logan Paul refuses to face Seth Rollins at the next pay-per-view, which I've got written down as Untitled September show. Could be anything. Could be Hell in a Cell. Could be Vengeance. Could be anything. But we're going to go with... What could it be? What could it be? Let's just say, for argument's sake, they bring back Unforgiven. That'd be nice. I like Unforgiven. I think it's a good name. So at Unforgiven, Seth Rollins instead challenges Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. Logan Paul is up in the skybox. He's watching this match with great intent because he's probably looking at his next challenger. Gunther retains. He beats Seth, plows him into the ground after they have another banger that has a clean finish with Gunther just eking out the win over Seth. Next night on Raw, Seth comes out. He cuts a promo on Logan Paul. He's fuming. He's seething that he has been robbed of this opportunity and robbed of being the longest reigning World Heavyweight Champion, because he would still have the belt, he claims. So he challenges Logan Paul. He calls out Logan Paul and says, "I want you at Extreme Rules, last man standing match. And if I lose, I will never challenge for the belt again while you are champion." Let's add that little asterisk on there. Logan Paul accepts. So last man standing match at Extreme Rules. It's a banger. It's crazy. It's full of plunder. Both guys know how to work. They both work well together. And Seth Rollins loses after attempting, going a little bit too far and attempting a huge dive off some scaffolding onto Logan Paul that Logan Paul moves out of the way. Logan Paul gets back up at 9, so Rollins is sort of protected in defeat because Logan Paul only just got to his feet. But Logan Paul retains the World Heavyweight Championship in that regard. The next night on Raw, Logan Paul struts out. He walks out, but who should interrupt him but... Whoa! Cody Rhodes comes out. He says Logan Paul cheated him out of Money in the Bank. He was so close to winning, so he wants to face him for the World Heavyweight Championship at Crown Jewel. Logan Paul accepts this challenge because it'll be a big box office money day for him. He'll have all the money, all the sponsorship. So sure, Cody Rhodes at Crown Jewel. We get to Crown Jewel. They have a great match. As we'd expect, it'd be a really good match, really fun. But what happens at the end? Cody is pushed back into the corner by Logan Paul when, boom, shot from the corner as the ref is distracted. Jake Paul knocks out Cody Rhodes in a very similar way to what Solo Sikoa did to him at WrestleMania. Logan Paul clocks him with the fist. 1, 2, 3. Logan Paul retains, and that continues Cody's downward trajectory following the loss of Roman Reigns, loss to Roman Reigns, should I say, at WrestleMania, and furthers that story. Logan Paul, again, not getting clean wins here, just eking out by the skin of his teeth, which I think is the way it should be. The next show we've got is Survivor Series, which can only mean one thing: War Games! We've got War Games, Team Cody versus Team Paul. So on the team of Cody Rhodes, you have got Cody himself, you have got Seth Rollins, you have got Ricochet, and you have got Braun Strowman. And on Logan Paul's team, you've got Logan Paul, you've got Bronson Reed, you've got Damian Priest, and you have Finn Balor. You have the Judgment Day helping Logan Paul in this regard. And again, crazy War Games match. Cody wants to do a War Games match. I'm sure he'll have the best of times in this. He will be a very happy boy in that environment. And it goes down to the wire. Both team captains are out. They are destroyed. Paul is crumpled in one corner. Rhodes is crumpled in the other corner. And something I forgot to mention a little bit, if Cody wins, he gets another shot at Logan Paul. But what should happen? Finn Balor pins Ricochet. 1, 2, 3. Cody cannot face Logan Paul. Continuing that downward trajectory of Cody and keeping the belt on Logan Paul, not through his own being, but through the help of the Judgment Day. The next night on Raw, Logan Paul comes out, smug as anything, of course, because he is a cocky prick. He brings out the Judgment Day, he brings out Priest, he brings out Dominic, he brings out Balor, he brings out Ripley, and he states, "Thank you for your help. But I don't need you guys anymore." An Imperium jump Judgment Day. Now hold your horses again, because I've got a little bit to add to that. I know you don't want Imperium to be lackeys, and they are not. Gunther comes down. He assists in the beatdown of Judgment Day. Logan Paul's smiling in the corner, holding his belt, while Gunther, Imperium all beat down the Judgment Day. Puts people through tables, because why not? Logan Paul goes to shake the hand of Gunther. Gunther stares at him and walks away. He is not a lackey to anyone. He cuts promo on the next edition of Raw saying, "I'll be open. I like to be open. I don't have conniving plans. I'm not that kind of person. I'm the ring general. I always have a way of thinking. Me and Logan Paul are not friends. We have an alliance. We don't have to like each other. I don't have to like him. He doesn't have to like me. But we have a united front against a common enemy, the Judgment Day." And hopefully in the process of this will turn Judgment Day face, because I think we're ready to cheer the Judgment Day. We are ready for those spooky gods to be, the biggest babyface stable on the main roster. Then we have the setup for the Royal Rumble. We have constant brawls between Imperium and the Judgment Day. Just constant carnage on every episode of Raw. And that leads to the Royal Rumble, in which Finn Balor faces Logan Paul for the World Heavyweight Championship. Gunther and Damian Priest are both in the Royal Rumble. Gunther enters at number 30. Cody Rhodes enters at number 1. And Cody Rhodes wins. An inverse of what happened last year, to give Cody some adversity. He needs more adversity. Leave that at that. And Damian Priest and Gunther have a huge brawl in the Royal Rumble. And then we get to the main event. Logan Paul versus Finn Balor for the World Heavyweight Championship. Logan Paul is battered. The Judgment Day are nowhere to be seen. It's just a one-on-one match. Balor versus Logan Paul. Logan Paul beckons to the back. He's doing that. He's asking for the Imperium to come down. And they no-show. They do not appear. There is no sign of the Judgment Day. Boom. Coup de grace from Finn Balor. 1, 2, 3. Finn Balor is the new World Heavyweight Champion. The Judgment Day have a title, finally, and Finn Balor has it round his waist. Following the match, Logan Paul calls out Gunther, calls him a pussy, calls him a wimp. Where were you? Gunther slowly walks down, stares at Logan Paul, and chops the living piss out of him. He destroys Logan Paul, writes him off, and then cuts a promo after saying, "We're done. We don't need you anymore." That's basically the gist of it. And from there, we have the Judgment Day versus Imperium set up. So we have Elimination Chamber next. We have the winner of the Elimination Chamber, the Raw Elimination Chamber, gets to face Finn Balor at WrestleMania. Damian Priest and Gunther are both inside, because I want to keep that feud bubbling. But Gunther wins the Elimination Chamber. He's still Intercontinental Champion, by the way. No one has beaten him for this belt. He is undefeated, technically. I know he sort of lost the triple threat at SummerSlam, but it is what it is. Money in the Bank cash-ins sort of don't count, at least in my head. So they have this huge Elimination Chamber match, and Finn Balor stares down with Gunther. One holds the Intercontinental Championship, the other holding the World Heavyweight Championship against each other. It's champion versus champion at WrestleMania, and it is going to be a barn burner. And then we get to WrestleMania. Finn Balor comes out, World Heavyweight Champion, Intercontinental Champion comes out, Gunther, and they have a great match. Judgment Day are around the ring, Imperium around the ring, but they do not interact at all in this match. This is just one leader versus another. Who's going to get it done? No cheating, no outside interference, just an utter war. And they go hell for leather. They go absolute hell for leather. Finn's chest is red. He's bleeding. Both men are exhausted. But Gunther eventually wins. Balor goes for a coup de grace, gets struck with a powerbomb into a clothesline, into another powerbomb. 1, 2, 3. Gunther is the new World Heavyweight Champion. He holds both belts high. He is the Intercontinental Champion and the World Heavyweight Champion. He is at the top of Raw, and the mat continues to be sacred. And that's my booking for that. I think going forward, if you have him having both belts, I know people might be a bit trepidatious about Gunther having both belts like Roman Reigns did. They are not unified. He has to defend both belts on both shows. And that is how someone eventually dethrones Gunther for one of the titles, because he is just burning the candle at both ends. He continues to say the mat is sacred. He continues to live by this code. And eventually that is his undoing. Whether it be Rollins, whether it be Cody, whether it be Balor, whether it be Priest, whether it be one of these guys who dethrones him, he's got a way out. He is knackered by defending both of these championships, but that is what he loves. That is how I would book the World Heavyweight Championship. The first World Heavyweight Championship booking video is done, and you probably all hate it, but I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Did you like my booking? Did you hate it? Do you want to see more of these? Let me know everything you want down in the comments below, and I'll try and reply to every single one of them. Thank you all ever so much for your support, and have a nice day.